Hey everyone, I'm so glad to be back today. I hope you're all doing well and just working on getting everything adjusted. I hope that today the sound system's finally going to be straightened out a little bit. I don't know. I really appreciate you bearing with me on that. And anyways, I'm glad to be back. I hope you're all doing great. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the cruises that I had talked about last week. I found that in 2020, because you have to have time, or at least most of us do, to plan for a cruise, right? So I found a cruise through Ancestry.com from Southampton over to New York. And there will be professionals on that ship that will be able to work on your genealogy and the stuff that they do make along the way. You'll be able to learn more about your family's history. So that's what I encourage you to go and take. The other one is in June of 2020. Well, one's in August. That first one's in August, and this one's in June 2020. You're going to go to Venice, Italy, Monte Carlo, and some other places. Sounds like a bummer of a trip. Anyways, you're going to go, and again, there will be professionals on board who can assist you with genealogy and help you with learning more about your family. So if you're interested, look those things up. There's lots of fun ways to keep and continue working on your family's history. So I really encourage you to do it. I wanted to talk today a little bit again. DNA is just a really amazing thing. I read about a cold case of a 9-year-old little girl in Virginia that was finally solved just this past 2 months ago, I think. In 1993, she went missing and she was never seen by her family until her body was located several days later. This little child was found, I believe, handcuffed or tied to a tree. Her head was bound with all sorts of tape, and she was not wearing clothing from, I believe, the waist down. And this little girl was made to stay tied to that tree without food or nourishment, where she lost her life and died and perished. Among other terrible, terrible things that this man did to her. Because of DNA that was found on her clothing, they didn't try back then to process this information, this stuff that they had found in her clothing, because it was so fine. They didn't want to lose that possibility of maybe being able to do it in the future. So they did what they could. It didn't have a result. But when they tested it finally, because DNA has become much more perfected, and I assume it will become even better as time goes on, they were able to connect this fluid that they had found that was dried on this clothing since 1993 to a man who unfortunately has had a record of abuse towards children. So although he's gotten away with a lot of things, I was so happy for this little girl that she can finally rest in peace and know that somebody out there cared enough to wait until technology caught up and not destroy evidence, and we're able to catch him. And he's now doing time in prison right now until this particular act goes to trial. He's also, unfortunately, in there for some other things. So I do feel for her. I am so grateful that she can now maybe sleep with the angels a little bit better, and for her family to have some closure. This painting here, let me tell you about it. This is one of the things I'm trying to learn about my culture is things that they do, and they like open air kilns. So when they do pottery, they do it outside on the ground. And I wanted to do a painting that kind of addressed that. And so if I could tell you guys, I left a little hint in here for myself. Let me see if I can show you here. Excuse me. Right up in here, if you were to see how this started out, it is nothing like this painting, okay? But I left it up there, and it's included as part of the painting for me, so that I can remember that I started this with 3 pots. It was just this more of a Halloweeny looking picture. It wasn't what I was wanting. My mind saw something, but it took me a little while to get the feeling for what I was trying to present. And when it was all said and done, I really like it. It came out good. So look, whenever you start, my mom, she's 83. She's now working on this beautiful picture. And yes, I help her a little bit, with telling her things. And she goes to a class now. She's gotten really kind of into it. Not a class, but several seniors get together once a week at a senior center and they all paint. And some of them are professionals. They've got a history with, excuse me, with what they are doing. Excuse me. And so they're helping each other. So I just really wanted to have that come through to you that it's never too late. It may not always work the way you think, but it is a warm, rich, beautiful picture to me, and I like it. So I hope you do too. I hope it encourages you to go on and do something great. Let me try to sing today. Let me hope that it's going to come out okay. I'm moving stuff around and I'm trying. And today I'm going to sing a Patsy Cline song for you. Patsy Cline, I can remember singing to Loretta Lynn and Patsy Cline when I was a little girl in a trailer that we had with the record player going. I would belt out those songs all day long in the car, wherever. And my mom had this beautiful voice too. And so she would help me and we would sing. And I just really love singing. So let me share that with you. Just to tell you a little bit about Miss Patsy, she was born in Winchester, Virginia in September of 1932. She perished in a plane crash when she was 30 years old in 1963. One of those times when you just hate losing these great artists, anytime. But it makes you sad when it's like that and you don't get to see how their life would have progressed and what else they would have done. So she just reminds me too to keep going. And so let me see if I can do any justice to this music today. Okay, bear with me. Here we go. If you got leaving on your mind, tell me now, get it over. Hurt me now, get it over. Got leaving on your mind. There's a new love in your heart. Tell me now, get it over. Hurt me now, get it over. The new love in your heart. Don't leave me here in a world filled with dreams that might have been. Hurt me now, get it over. I may learn to love again. If there's a new love in your heart, tell me now, get it over. Hurt me now, get it over. New love in your heart. Hurt me now, get it over. If there's a new life in your heart. Well, hey, thanks for letting me share that. I hope it came out a little better than what I've had the last couple of times. Um, Anyways, I wanted to share one more thing with you. I stepped out of my box. I've been making these earrings for a really long time and I love doing it. But today I stepped up to the plate because I was given this very beautiful, this very cross. This is literally made from lace boot, the colored boot thread in cowboy boots. It's made from that. So it was given to me by one of my children who I just love. And I sat down today and I made this. It was on a little white string, which was fine, but it was kind of hard to wear with everything. So I went and I stuff, and I put it all together today and with a veil and wrapped this in. So I'm sharing that with you because again, you guys, if you have stuff, if you have things that you desire to do, and you want to do that stuff, go figure it out. I'm trying. I could probably be better somehow, but I really like how it came out. So listen, thanks for joining me. I'm going to continue to do what I can with my music. I'm not sure how it came out today, so happy's a choice. Remember that we've all got things going on in our life. We could be terribly miserable every day, but the sun comes up and it's another day. And if you're not pushing up daisies, I guarantee you somebody else is. They didn't get a wake up. So you enjoy your day. Do the best you can. Please, please, please watch your children. I harp on this all the time. Um, for a long time, my kids would get so mad at me because even when they were like 10 and 7, they couldn't go across certain roads without me holding their hand. And it probably seemed ridiculous to them, but by gosh, if my kids were going to exit this world because of a car, I was going with them. They weren't going because I wasn't there with them. Okay. I wasn't a perfect parent any better than anybody else, but some things you just have to stay cognizant of. Please watch your children. There's so many people out there that are willing to hurt them, and it's so sad. I did even read of a story of a human trafficking story where a supposed adoption agency got a little girl adopted and as she learned the language because she was from another country, as she learned the language, only this family in America realize this child came from a loving home. They were missing her. They had no idea what had happened to their baby. Well, they went to great lengths and they were able to get her back after a year of having her, getting her life going, helping her in school, get her back united with her family. And what courageous people to do that and allow that little girl to go home. We can't judge we may look at somebody's life and go, how do they live there like that? They're used to that. That's their culture. There doesn't mean they're not loved, right? They're loved just as much as anybody else in a whole lot of ways. And so it was wonderful of them to get her back home to her mother and her family. You guys be safe out there. You remember your blood calls you, you go find it. I am Native by Heart, art by Shawn Shelton. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. God bless.